Hello, YouTubers. My name is Sean, and I wanted to come to you today and discuss a few things. So let me just give you a quick little backstory. I've had a lot of personal drama in my own life, but basically, last year around November, I was in a car accident, had a brain clot to my head, and was hospitalized for 2 months. And part of that time, I had no use of the left side of my body, which, as you can see, I can use. And if you notice, my face isn't doing this thing, so I'm pretty good to go. Still trying to get some of that back. But anyways, since then, my imagination has been going off the chain like a little kid. And I've been reviewing videos and seeing a lot of stuff. Now, in my personal life, I've been able to go back and rethink some things. And I know that constantly the proper idea or an idea or a theory of somebody does stuff tends to, any time short, sometimes a short period, I'm sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied, but sometimes a short period after the theory comes out, or maybe even a long period after the theory comes out, humanity is able to disprove and prove that the theory was wrong. And what happens is the theory is believed so much for so long and ingrained into so many people mentally and physically by schools and government and education, all that kind of stuff, that what ends up happening is society does not like the new theory. They turn against it, and one of two things either happens. Either the theory is actually proved, well, I should say one of three things. Either the theory is actually proved and it can't be refuted, and if it looks like something that those in power can grab a hold of, manipulate, and use to manipulate the masses, they do so. But if they don't think it's something they can use to manipulate and control the masses, then they move the masses against that theory, and then that theory ends up being discarded and in many cases forgotten. I think that's probably why there's a lot of weird things we find and excavate, and we can't quite understand how it was able to be done at the time that it was believed it was done. So, just a little, that's only my personal belief. Now, all this being said, I'm having a lot of crazy ideas, and I really wanted to talk about it with somebody. I have personal issues, and I have problems with trusting people. But my ideas, I'm going to need to bounce off somebody. And if they can actually disprove it, then maybe I can either problem solve it, or maybe it'll point me in a more direction. But at the same time, if they can disprove it with an actual fact that can't itself be disproven, then that will help me decide where I'm going with these ideas. I'll give you an example. I have many ideas. I'll give you two examples. First example, I have an idea on the bioelectricity, alkalinity, and acidity of the human body. And this idea, if I can work it out with somebody, chances are you can end up having humans that practically can, in a meditative state, can practically heal themselves. But if this idea works out as well, you'll actually be looking at more benefits. The sad thing is it could be militarized, or crazy people could get a hold of it and try to take over the world kind of thing, which is not far from what's going on right now anyways. But all of that being said, you'd be looking at anything as little as the abilities of maybe you've seen with the fictional characters like Jedi, as possibly as far up, but possible, not really. I would say, let's say plausible, not exactly possible, but maybe as far up as anime characters like in the Dragon Ball Z series. So, all of that being said, I won't go into more detail about my analysis of the body and everything. But another idea that I think will spark a lot, and I'm actually going to put this in the video, and if you made it this long, I'm not actually going to tell you the full idea. And the reason I'm not going to tell you that is I don't know what type of person you are who's watching this. And if my idea on some small, middle, large, or great scale is wrong or accurate, and you take my idea and it works, then I can't. I gave you an idea that you can use to wield power over others and actually harm, kill, or control, or do things, and that's not something at this point in time I can live with. And it's not something. It is an illusion to be able to control stuff, but on the same note, I do want to control the. I guess what you could say the. Come on, think. My head doesn't always think fast. Sometimes it thinks really fast, and other times it just like doesn't think. It starts with a C. I apologize. Maybe one of you guys in the comments below can put it, but it has to. Oh, collateral. I'm trying to minimize the collateral damage. But now that I've said all that, if you make it to the end of the video, I'll tell you an idea, something of my idea. I'll lead you into one of my ideas. But something else I wanted to say is I made the bout about knowledge and everything and how it's used and how I don't know if I mentioned that oftentimes what somebody theorizes to be correct, and then those in power push that idea, and those not in power lose against that idea. Or maybe those not in power gain the power to push that idea, all that kind of stuff. But what if physics, a lot of science we're finding out, well, a lot of things we believed were actually inaccurate. So what if all that was actually accurate? Maybe that's why we can't do things that we don't understand why we can't do. And that leads me to one of the things. I saw a video, I only got a few minutes, great. So let me try to do this quick. I saw a video on the physics of somebody like Cloud wielding a Buster Sword. Now, I know I'm a heavyset person, but I'm only 5'10". I had a 50-plus pound Buster Sword made out of steel, and I had actually taken some lessons in two-hand German longsword fighting style. And out of curiosity, I implemented that into the use with the Buster Sword. Now, eventually, through the course of swinging and everything, the Buster Sword itself wasn't properly made for battle. So what happens is the steel of the blade, and the blade being, more than a foot wide, the steel of the blade that ran into the handle snapped. And I don't have any tools to weld or anything, and I wasn't able to repair it. But that being said, it took me 3 months from barely being able to hold that, because when you held it straight up, it was 50 pounds. But if you grabbed it the way you're supposed to hold a sword or a two-hand sword, one hand by the guard and one hand on the bottom, and you leaned it out, it easily felt like you were probably dealing with a couple 100 pounds. It took me 3 months. 3 months. And I could wield it because I found out once I understood it and understood how it flowed, I could change the direction of the momentum with not much effort requiring. So, don't let people tell you can't do stuff. I think a lot of times they're wrong. Now, to wrap up the video, I'll tell you, if you made it this far, I'll tell you what it is. I think the reason the lightsabers ideas haven't worked is people thought it's either plasma encased in the magnetic field, or it's some type of laser beam that you can control the length of. Well, that all being the case, I don't believe it's either. But I believe the plasma one is very, very close. In fact, I've drawn out a blueprint plan for a beam saber, a plasma beam saber. But I still don't feel that's a lightsaber. So that being the case, I believe the lightsaber is a different element, but close to plasma. And I only got 30 seconds, so I'll tell you that much. I'm on Google+. I'm not on Facebook. You can try to get a hold of me there, or you can message me in the comments below if anybody even sees this. But with everything out there, whatever you do, be safe. And be mindful of others. And good luck. And maybe I'll end up talking to somebody.